So the market remains insane and uber competitive. Now, as a buyer, I want to talk about 4 different ways to be a competitive buyer in today's market. You're not just throwing in offers and not winning them over and over again. I want to talk about how to be competitive. I have 4 different steps that are imperative to you winning an offer. Step number 1 has 2 parts. First off, have extra cash. If you're a buyer and all you have is your minimum down payment and your closing costs, and you're in one of these competitive markets like Frisco, you're not going to win. You will not be the offer that's accepted, even if you're the highest dollar amount. Because if you offer 10% over list price, if you don't have the cash to guarantee that seller that you can make up that 10% in an appraisal problem down the road, which could very well happen, then they are not going to accept your offer, even if you're the highest amount. And that's information that a lot of people don't know. I work with sellers, I work with buyers. And so I see exactly what the market's doing, I see what the seller's demanding, and I can help educate you. Part 2 of the number 1 item is be flexible on location. If you are in a market like Frisco, Frisco is one of the most competitive markets in North Texas right now, period. If you're in Frisco and you're looking at Frisco and you're flexible and you can look in Little Elm and you can look in McKinney and you can look in Aubrey and all these other surrounding areas, you're going to open up the opportunity to find houses. And some of the markets like Aubrey, some of the markets like Salina, some of the markets like Melissa, Anna, Van Alstyne aren't quite as competitive as Frisco. Now, I'm not saying they're not competitive. I'm not saying that they're not going into multiple offer a lot of the time, but they're less competitive. So instead of seeing 20, 30 offers in a Frisco home, you might be only seeing 10 or 15 offers in like an Aubrey home. So have the cash. If you don't have the cash, you need to be super flexible on location. Number 2, you also need to be okay with buying the property as is. Now, I'm not necessarily telling you not to do an inspection period or do an inspection altogether, but you need to be okay buying the property as is. There's a couple ways to handle this. First off, skip your inspection period. That's not what I recommend. However, it's an option, and there's a lot of buyers out there right now that are putting in solid offers and skipping the inspection period altogether. Now, if you skip the inspection period, it does not mean that you skip the inspections. It just means you skip the section of the contract that allows you to walk away for inspection problems. So that's one of your options. Now, that is just something that is a judgment call on behalf of the buyer. If you're okay with receiving a property without doing any inspections or having an inspection period, then by all means do that. Get advice. Have a good real estate agent that can talk to you through in super detail about the pros and cons of doing that. The other way to kind of treat a property as is do a super high option fee. Now, most of the time, we're seeing option fee, well, let me back up a little bit. In a normal market, we're typically seeing option fees anywhere from $100 to maybe $200, $250. So if that's what we normally see, and in this market, we're seeing $500, we're seeing $1,000. But imagine if you write something that's huge. Now, $1,000 high. Let's say you write something that's $2,000 or $3,000. What that dollar amount is, the option fee is, and again, get your own advice unless you're my client, which I'm your advice. In that amount, you're basically telling the seller that I'm giving the seller $3,000, let's throw out a huge number, $3,000 for the opportunity to inspect the house. Now, if you want to walk away, you're going to be saying goodbye to that $3,000. If you move forward, that $3,000 can and usually is used towards your closing costs. So the dollar amount's not gone. You're just giving it to the seller saying, hey, you know what? If we get a couple of things that's less than $3,000, we're not even going to worry about it. And we want to kind of paint that picture for the seller, let them know, hey, we're going to give you a $3,000 option fee. And the reason we're doing this is because we want you to feel comfortable that we're not going to be difficult. We're not going to nitpick. We're not going to be, challenging, asking for caulking windows or replacing 2 or 3 fogged windows in a 20 or 30-year-old house, things like that. That gives the sellers comfort that you're going to be easy to work with, that you're willing and able, and you're very excited about the house because of the amount of money you're offering on option period. So that's kind of 2 ways to handle that. Again, get your own advice if it's not me, because these videos are not all-encompassing when it comes to this, but these are things to absolutely consider. Number 3, come on, real estate agents, and this is really not up to the buyer, although you can, if you're a buyer and you see a bunch of blanks in the contract, then you need to ask your real estate agent what those mean and why it matters. Because the cleaner an offer you can write to that seller and that seller agent, the more they're going to want to work with you. Now, what do I mean by a clean offer? if we're in multiple offers and we know there's 10, 20, 30 offers, I'm not going to be asking the seller to pay for a $600 home warranty for my buyers. I'm just not going to do that. And I'm not going to do that because it impacts a lot of things in the deal, because that seller's going to go, seriously? Really? They're asking us for a $600 home warranty and they're going $20,000 over list price or even more a lot of the time? Come on. So if I can send a clean offer to that seller and there's not anything that they have to come back to me on and say, you know what, we want this, 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 and this. Now, if you don't know what a clean offer is, real estate agents, I guess you can message me or comment below or whatever, and I can maybe help you, but write a clean offer. Don't try to negotiate these little things here and there. They're like seller to pay for a new survey, which is typically in most situations, $400 to $500. If it's a lot and block type situation, don't do that. Just say, hey, seller, I'm the buyer. I want this house. I'll pay for a new survey. I'll pay for the shortages in areas coverage. I'll pay for this. I'm not worried about it. It's a few $100s, maybe a few $1,000s total. I want the house. I'm not going to be difficult. That's what a clean offer shows. Also, agents, when you're a seller's agent and you get a nice, high, strong, clean offer that's completely filled in with no blanks, that's the agent that you want to work with, because it shows that they're detail oriented. It shows they're professional. It shows they know what they're doing because they know how to fill out a contract. And honestly, a lot of agents don't know. They think they do, but they don't. So a clean offer is one of those things that costs you nothing as a buyer. It costs you nothing as a real estate agent other than taking detail, being very detail oriented about what you're writing. Now, number four, be nice. Be kind, be considerate, be understanding, build rapport as an agent, build rapport with that other agent. Let them know that you are professional, you are articulate, you are organized, and you know what you're doing. Because agents in our industry, there are a lot of phenomenal agents, and there are a lot of agents that don't know what they're doing that well. Maybe they're new, maybe they don't care enough to put the time and effort in to be really good at what they do. However, if you've been in this business long enough, there are great people and there are really bad people. And that's every industry all over the world. It doesn't really matter what it is, whether you're a carpenter or you're a real estate agent. So if you can be nice and you can be kind and you can be considerate, and maybe even the buyer, maybe even you as a buyer want to write that seller a note, letter to seller or a cover letter, or whatever, however you want to present it, to say, hey, we love your house. Whatever you want to do. You can Google it and find a bunch of examples on there. And that could possibly get you even closer to getting your deal done. Now, if you're a buyer and you're $20,000 off on the top offer, and that offer is very similar to yours, these little things like this will not matter. So at the end of the day, if there's getting 20 offers and these houses are going 10% over list price, if you're at 1% over list price, the chance of them accepting your offer is slim to absolutely none. However, once you start getting in that competitive realm, whether it's by being competitive by location or going into increasing your bid amounts, then all of this little stuff matters. Now, I'm going to toot my own horn for a moment because I get this comment all the time. I really want to work with you. You're professional, you're articulate, you know what you're doing, and I know this transaction will be smoother, whatever. This transaction will go better working with you versus that other agent that keeps calling me every 5 minutes yelling at me because I haven't got her response yet, or him a response. Happens. Again, I'm a listing agent and I'm a buyer agent. I see what the market is doing to some agents that can't handle stress, that can't stay organized. They get very frustrated and they take it out on me as a listing agent. And that's fine. Whatever. It doesn't bother me. But if I know that I'm a buyer's agent and I know that all these agents are acting super stressed out and like this because their buyer went and looked at 10 homes and wrote 10 offers and got none accepted, they're stressed, and I understand that. But if you can go in and you can be cool and calm and nice and polite and considerate and build that rapport, that will go so far. So that's all I got. Those are 4 ways to make your offer more competitive and step up maybe a few rungs on those offers and get some more offers accepted. So if you're looking for a real estate agent in North Texas, my name is Jordan Bellinger. I'm your guy. If you are looking outside of North Texas for anything, buying, selling, investing, let me know that as well. And I can connect you with agents all over the world. We're sending our clients and our friends and our family to agents all over the world pretty much every couple of weeks. And we love it because we get comments all the time. Oh my gosh, I love working with whoever, because it's super important, because I know my client's personality, I know my friend's personality, and I want to make sure an agent, they know what they're doing, because chances are I'm going to see through somebody's BS way faster than you are when they're in the real estate industry. Do they actually sell business? Do they actually understand the area you're looking at? And can they answer the questions that you want answered honestly and truthfully and all that stuff? So that's all I have, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.